Welcome back to the Honest Media. So, we were talking about the Clintons, and Craig, have you heard of Pocahontas?
Oh, I have. Seen the movie, loved it, everything.
Well, did you know that she's a real Indian princess? Her name is Elizabeth Warren.
Yes.
And she's in the government. She's in Congress.
Uh-huh.
And she might be our new vice president if Trump mysteriously disappears. That's the only way it'll happen.
Yeah.
But
It seems to happen when you run against the Clintons or go to trial against them.
when you say anything negative against the
You
Clintons.
might wind up duct taped and shot in the head twice and ruled to suicide.
That's true. That poor suicidal man. But Pocahontas. So if you don't know the background, goofy Elizabeth Warren lied about her ethnic background. She said she was a Native American. That way she could get into Harvard and probably get a cushy scholarship and get all kinds of nice accolades. Every Democrat probably knows this. Nobody wants to talk about it but Trump. And so Trump said, well, let's call her Pocahontas. But really, first he said Folksahontas, F-A-U-X. But I like Pocahontas better, and I think he does. And just recently, she said, well, yeah, I think I could be a good running mate for Hillary Clinton. I think that'd be good for me. It'd be good for the party.
Yeah.
So Trump sort of apologized for calling her Pocahontas. Well, that's not true. He apologized to the historical Pocahontas for comparing her to a liar and just a goofy person. Like, what is the matter with this person? He also said that she's very racist for doing that, which I think is a completely valid point, don't you?
Yeah.
I mean, she's lying about her ethnicity.
Yeah.
It'd be like if, Craig, you've got that nice, shiny head, you'd be, well, I'm a black guy, and give me free scholarships.
Well, I wouldn't be the first white person to claim to be a black person.
Now, are you thinking Bill Clinton, or are you thinking Dolezal, or are you thinking Shaun White?
The lady.
Yeah,
that was in the
Rachel Dolezal.
Yeah,
right? That's right. She was like local president for NAACP. And she that's true because she had it really brought out. Shaun King, people still think this guy who is as white as I am, maybe whiter, is black.
Yeah,
and he's like one of the figureheads of the Black Lives Matter movement.
Yeah,
I mean, they can't find a guy who actually shares the complexion, but. It's like the liberals. They just say, well, it's okay. It's just trans racism.
Oh, yeah. You can just decide what you are now. I forgot.
But you know what you don't see a lot of?
What's that?
You don't see a lot of minorities saying they're white.
No.
What is the deal with that?
Yeah.
It's only trans race if you're...
Well, you don't get anything free if you're white. That's the problem. Yeah.
That's a good point. But there's all this white privilege.
I know.
We've got all
I'm still looking for mine. I might have left it somewhere.
But that's clearly what it is. They want to get rid of their nasty, filthy white privilege.
Yes.
And be part of some other race.
I just wish I could find it so
you could
all this awesome stuff.
Right. Like, where is it? Where are all my benefits?
I don't know.
Where's my white privilege reparations?
Yeah, I know.
That's a valid point. Now, we talked about VPs. We talked about goofy Elizabeth Warren. People can say what they want about InfoWars. I like them.
Yeah, I do too.
And they reports, Trump refused $200 million to pick Gingrich as VP.
Yeah.
And before this happened, I kind of liked Gingrich for VP.
Yeah, I thought he wouldn't have been a bad choice. I followed him for years. He says a lot of good things, and he says he's a clearly political insider.
Oh, yeah.
Clearly.
But then he'll go and he'll get on the news and he'll say things, well, Mr. Gingrich, why don't they like Trump? And he'll sit there and say, well, he's not a member of the club. He doesn't know the handshake.
Yeah.
He's and
literally admitted he wasn't part of the secret societies that they're all involved with.
And everybody then says, well, he's talking figuratively. There's no secret society.
It was literally. I was like, you idiot. You just spilt your own cup of beans.
And I guess this is probably the big club, the globalists. They're the ones who said, hey, Trump, here's a checkbook. We'll give you $200
Put our
million.
boy in. Put our boy in.
Put our guy in, former Speaker of the House.
So maybe
He's something
happens to you, we'll have our guy in there.
That's right. That's right. But, and if you remember, like a day after this broke on InfoWars, that's when Gingrich came out and he said, Trump's biggest miscalculation were the remarks about the racist member of La Raza who happens to be presiding over the Trump University case.
Which they never mentioned to La Raza. They just say he doesn't like him because he has Mexican heritage.
Right, because he's a Latino.
Not because he's a member of La Raza.
Right. Well, and of course they take a little bit of Trump's quote and says, because he's Mexican. And act like that's all
he's
Trump
Mexican,
said.
He can't get a fair trial. No, it's because he's a member of La Raza.
Well, and what Trump said is he's Mexican and I want to build a wall. He comes from a specific group of people who are very against the wall and I want to build a wall.
But his whole argument was that he's a member of La Raza, though,
Right.
really. And then it got misconstrued by everybody. And
not only is
not misconstrued, they lie purposefully. So
and the Raza recently did, I can't remember if it was an editorial or if it was on a pamphlet or a website, but they came out and said, Trump's wall is evil, Trump's wall is bad, Trump's wall this, Trump's wall is that.
Oh, yeah.
And so you would expect Gingrich, of all people, to go with Trump on this. At least I would expect that.
Yeah.
But it really makes sense if you think about it in the context of, well, Gingrich just got passed over for VP, huh?
Mm-hmm.
You know who I wouldn't mind for VP, though?
Who's that?
I like Senator Jeff Sessions.
Yeah, I do too.
He's hard on the border.
Mm-hmm.
He was the one, like, an hour before Trump even came out with the terrorist attack in Orlando and said, this is what we've been expecting.
Yeah.
There will be more.
Yeah.
And I mean, what other Republican had the guts to go out and say something like that?
Only Donald Trump so far.
Only Donald Trump.
Yeah.
Even Marco Rubio does, and he's down there, and he's doing some good things. He's talking about it's an ideology of hate. It's this, it's that. But it's like, where were you? Where have you been? This is not. How come you said that the shutdown of immigration is too much?
Yeah.
I mean, we've got the son of a Muslim immigrant. Two Muslim immigrants from Afghanistan who just did the second worst attack in American history. It makes you wonder
Which Obama doesn't know what the motive was behind it.
That's right.
What was it, a week or 2 weeks prior to that in Orlando?
About 2 months.
Cleric or whatever, the
2
Muslim
months.
guy.
An imam from Iran came out and said, well, this is what videos of, and so you know he said this inside the mosque.
Yeah.
He said that the punishment for homosexuality is death.
Well, it's not the punishment, that's to help them.
Right, as compassion.
We love and have compassion for them, so we should kill them immediately.
As a Muslim scholar, he said, there's nothing embarrassing about this. It's what the Quran prescribes.
Well, it is.
Well, it is, that's right.
Yeah.
Because apparently they don't accept the teachings of Jesus. He's just another prophet. Then Muhammad comes along and tells them the truth.
Well,
if you read the New Testament, the Old Testament is a history of everything that happened before Jesus came and changed the entire religion. But and so that's all the atheists like to cling in on, or not even atheists, the state theists, the people who reject Christianity and replace it with the religion of the state. They say, well, look at Leviticus, without any biblical knowledge, without understanding the differences between Judaism, Christianity, and Islam.
Yeah.
And then they point and say, oh, religions are the same. I don't see a lot of Christians shooting up gay nightclubs.
Yeah.
Christians hold signs and they get beat to hell for it. Islam shoots up nightclubs and nobody bats an eye.
Yeah.
We'll be right back after these messages.